Hey everyone, this is Jennifer Beamer, owner operator of Exploit Diet Earth by Science, and today we are continuing on with the fiber storage solutions, and today we're going to talk about dyed top. It doesn't have to be dyed, but oftentimes it will be dyed, and how to store it. So a lot of you who buy dyed top, it'll come in sort of like a braid that's like this, or maybe the person who did it, like they do like a crochet chain. And so it's a little bit fatter than this, but essentially it's braided in some sort of way. And sometimes it's rolled up and put into a plastic bag, or like, sometimes it's rolled up like this and it's put in a plastic bag with a label, or, maybe it's just folded in half with one of those paper labels that goes around it. This is actually, I have found, one of the easiest fibers to store. Because it's slightly compressed, there's two things about that. First, because it's slightly compressed, it's easier to store multiple braids in one spot without it like exploding up out of the drawer. However, if you're going to be storing it for a really, really long time, I would suggest unbraiding it and then wrapping it like a ball. And let's see, I think this is the end. Maybe? Maybe, oh, it's like all wrapped around. Whew. Oh, this is braided, not crocheted. That's why I was having a problem. Okay, so you'll just find whatever end there was. This one was braided, so it was folded into thirds and then braided just like as if you would braid hair, basically. But the reason why I suggest doing this is the fiber can get really compacted when it stays in a tight braid like this, or even if it's done like a crochet chain. Even superwash fiber can sort of feel compacted if it stays in a braid like this for too long. So basically you'll just want to unbraid it. And then what I do is I get this started with a couple loops on my hand, and then I just wrap it in a ball like this. Try not to twist the fiber too much. Right? And this will help, just tuck the end in there somewhere, and this will help keep it from being super compacted like it would be in the braid. Now let's say you're going to store this, you can store this in several balls of fiber like this. You can put a whole bunch of these into a fleece bag or a bed sheet, or just anything that is a breathable fabric made out of natural materials like cotton. You can put a whole bunch of these in there, it's fine, because it's really not going to, like the fibers aren't really going to come off so easily as they would in a bat or a roving. So if you have information or like a label this came with, you could just stick it in the center here. The only problem with that, of course, is if you want to see what this was or what project you had picked out for it, the label might be really buried in there. I'm sure there are other solutions. I generally spin dyed top like this fairly regularly, so I never really leave it in this particular state. But I do know from other people who have like posted comments out there on the internet asking other people, why is my fiber so compacted? It's not felted, it's just really, really dense. And I have a strong inkling in thinking that it's because of the way that it's braided or the way that it's crocheted into a giant chain. It's compressing the fiber in those intersections, which is giving it that compacted feeling. Anyway, so this is one way to store this type of fiber long term. So if you're going to store it for over a year, I would probably wrap my fiber like this. Or you could just leave it in the braided form. You can also shove a whole bunch of these into a giant pillowcase, and you can write on a label saying, okay, there's 8 ounces of this fiber, there's you know, 4 ounces of this fiber, and it's just all sort of like a mixed bag. Or you could just store this like how it is in a giant tote. So if you have like one of those clear plastic totes, right, you just store this in there like this. And then what you can do is you can use clean dish towels or dish rags that you never want to see again. You know, it's just they're really, really old but otherwise clean. You just don't want them hanging around in the bathroom anymore because they're unsightly. You can place some of these in there. You can use lavender sachets or cedar chips to sort of help deter pests, but you want something in there that's going to keep the fiber from getting too moist. So the piece of like cloth or towel is going to help absorb extra moisture within the plastic tote, so that, let's say you store it in the basement and it becomes summertime, all of the moisture is released from the fiber, so it's just in the air within an enclosed space. And at night, let's say, you know, basements are always chilly in the summer, right? It's like the place that you go to cool down. At least that was the case for me. It's going to condense back onto the fiber, and then you're going to have this over and over and over, and you know, it can promote mold and mildew growth, it can attract pests, it can give the fiber a funky smell. No one wants your fiber to smell. And basically it could actually ruin the fiber if it's subjected to this change in relative humidity over and over and over the course of several seasons. So you want something in there that will help deal with the extra moisture that might come about, and it will also work as a retention unit. So let's say it gets really, really dry in the winter time, it'll help with releasing extra moisture into the fiber so the fiber doesn't become too brittle, which, you know, over several hundred years that can definitely happen. We're only talking about a small scale here, but you know, it's there as sort of a peace of mind. So 2 things: store it in, you can store it in a bag that's breathable, just like you would the fleece, or you could store it in a plastic tote of some kind. And then you also want it to have some kind of moisture absorption material, like a towel or a cloth that's clean and smells good, and something to deter pests. Not mothballs. Mothballs are gross, and there are much better and beautiful smelling ways of dealing with that instead of mothballs. So, anyway, if you liked this video and you thought it was useful, give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe, ask any questions, or offer any suggestions in the comments below. And if you want to, go over to Facebook and see if I have any deals right now, like my page. You can also find me on Twitter. And if there's anything else that you want me to sort of talk about, let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye!